I know we were focused on the draft last night, and last night was kind of. I think the NBA scheduled appropriately. You know, they kind of knew. I don't think anybody witnessed it. It's kind of like a tree falling in the forest. I guess there was a sound. Cleveland didn't show up. The Magic just dispatched Cleveland. 40-point win. I don't know what happened there. So I guess the playoffs began in that series. I don't know. But the game of the night was the Nick 76er game. We knew it was going to be a knife fight, knew it was going to be a battle. And it was. Was there anything to be learned from that? If you were a Nick fan, and there's a lot of Nick fans listening. I get enough text from you guys. Are you worried this morning that the bear was awoken and there is no answer for Embiid? That maybe now the Sixers understand that.
I think if you're a Knicks fan, you probably feel like you're a bit cursed, right? I mean, there's certain fan bases like that, and I think you had a really good week because of what happened on Monday night, right? Like, I don't know that Knicks fans had experienced any level of euphoria, from Tuesday through Thursday or anything like what they did from Tuesday through Thursday, unless they watched the show on Max with Zendaya. And so that being said, I do think that if you're a Knicks, I think because I've been there as a Cowboys fan. I think if you're a Knicks fan waking up today, you're probably like, was it fake? Like, like you're doubting it. You're like, is it over? Like, was that the best? You know what I mean? Like, are they coming now? I think you absolutely have to be worried at this moment because there is nothing like looking back and saying like, oh crap, that was the moment. Like that was the moment that we gave them a rallying cry. And it kind of feels like the Knicks did that. I'm not ready to go. I'd still take them to win the series, but I definitely understand the panic.
Well, I don't know. Let's just call it what it was. Embiid was dirty last night. He wasn't protecting himself. Um, I guess I don't know how you describe what he did to hogtied. That'd be the word that would be wrapped up. Um, there's a fine coming. He probably should have been ejected last night. Probably should have. I don't think I don't know how you could have as a ref at home in that environment, but he probably should have been.
Especially on the heels of what happened on Monday night, right? Like this was, I don't know what I believe happens in, coach meetings and player meetings, in situations like, what the Sixers found themselves in after this week. But I'm definitely not willing to believe that something like this doesn't happen where, the Sixers are like, this is the game to foul heavy. like, you know what I mean?
They can't call them all.
This is the game to go wild. Like if you can be a little bit more physical in this game because we're gonna have a longer leash. I wonder if that is truly a strategy because the logic behind that makes sense. You know what I mean, based on what happened on Monday. And so I mean, I don't know how anyone disagrees with this. I mean, this was.
Well, I don't know if you treat it like a breakaway one, which is kind of what it was. He was behind him. He's on the ground. But if you extrapolate to running from behind a guy, not making a basketball play, but just stopping him, that's a double. That's two in the ball. And that's, I don't know, maybe ejected because he pulled him. I mean, that was just flat dirty. That being said, I'll tell you, if it's me, if I'm the Knicks, I wake up this morning going, what's the next thing we got to do? Because they're coming. That Embiid said it. I think he felt it like, man, we're better than this. We should have won at least one game prior to this. We should be up 2-1 right now at the bare minimum. And they showed it last night. Now, it took everything, took 50. But if I'm a Knicks fan, judging by this team's history and judging by the weaknesses of what this team is, this could be that could be the turning point, or it could be the flash in the pan. And, again, this series hasn't started.
I mean, it hasn't started, but it has. You know what I mean? Who would you take to win it now?
Right
24
now,
hours
if
ago, you would have said the
I
Knicks.
still like the Knicks just because I think there's some momentum there, and they'll pick something back up. But I'll tell you, if something happens with Embiid, if they fine him, that's one thing. But I don't think a suspension's imminent. Nah, I wouldn't go that far. But
No. But now you risk taking the like we were slighted energy and giving it back.
you're exactly
you know what I'm
right.
saying? And now the Knicks feel slighted. And this game, is this the most important game in Sixers history coming up?
Well, I mean that long. I mean, there's for men of my age, no. But and the recent from the beginning of the process, and we can count that process back 15 years. I mean, this process began way long ago with a guy named Nerlens Noel, I believe, or something to that effect. I mean, it's been a long time and 4 or 5 coaches. So if we want to do that, yeah, this is the most important one in the new century. True, I'll give it to you.
Or even if you want to just isolate it a little bit more and say in the Embiid era, this is and I recognize it's only the first round, but having the mettle to hang tough and to win this series, and especially to play tough, although there's a line that you crossed, but would really go a long way. And again, winning this series would not do anything or everything for the Sixers, to be very clear. But I do think it would prove a lot. Like if they got swept in round 2, I do think they would look back and be like, God, but we hung tough against it. Like you'd be able to hang your hat on something just a little bit. Yeah. I know that's not enough, but it would be something.
It's interesting because I think most people, when they look at this series, they see 2-7 and they inverse the two teams. They assume that it's Philly 2, just by it's Embiid, MVP. And when we last saw this team fully healthy back in about early February, they were a legit number 2. And with Embiid, they probably are a 2 seed. But without him, they became the 7. And we watched this and we feel like Philly should be favored, and they shouldn't be. The Knicks are a better team, or at least have been, without Embiid, and it appears they got Embiid back. I am still a betting man on the Knicks, but it would be a little bit fewer dollars if I was just beginning the whole process. What do we think of the Lakers? Can they manufacture a valiant last win in the Staples or Crypto or whatever the heck the name of that stadium is now? No, right? I mean, the Denver didn't even play well last night. It wasn't even like they had a good game. And 62-40 in the second and third quarters. Nothing.
I just looked up the odds because I was going to look them up from a Knicks standpoint. The Nuggets are minus 20,000 to win the series. I mean, they're up 3-0, so I don't think that's shocking. But
4 starters over 20. 4 starters with 20 points or better. They sniped. They laid up. They didn't have to work that hard. And it's over.
Do you think, is that more of a testament to how much of a machine the Nuggets are?
That's exactly what it is. They're a machine.
So it's not anything to do with the Lakers are just not good.
I don't know. I think as the Nuggets are going through this, I think they got a sense about midway through the second quarter when they got down, they're down by about 12, 13 points. And they just kind of grounded out. And I got the sense as they were walking into halftime after Aaron. Well, anyway, we'll talk about the hottest close of anybody I've ever seen in Dante last night with the Sixers. But as they were walking off, I think the Nuggets went, this is easy. This isn't hard. They knew they're about to beat the Lakers for the 11th straight time. And I know matchups, styles make fights. And the Nuggets style is their Shaolin style's far better than the drunken Indian style, whatever they have style that the Lakers are playing. They're styled better. They're whooping them everywhere they play them. Now, I don't know if that's just because the style or the Lakers are just truly toast. I don't think they're toast. They certainly look like toast.
Have you ever seen, there's a really popular Snapchat
my Shaolin
that gets memed a lot from the 2016 Cowboys division round loss to the Packers. And it's a picture. It's like a guy in a Packers jersey, and he's taking a selfie in the crowd, he's clearly like way high up at AT&T Stadium, and he's wearing a Packers jersey, and everyone's jumping. All these Cowboys fans are jumping up and down behind him, and he's there smiling, and he takes this picture, and the caption reads, "They don't realize that Rodgers still has time," and it's just and so I've always wondered what that must feel like. You know what I mean? To know that your team absolutely
better.
owns.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no matter what happens, your team will find a way to beat the other. And that's what has got to just be so cool about being a Nuggets fan right now. Is that no matter what the Lakers throw you, no matter what they try, no matter what they say, no matter how much Lakers of it all they get, you own them. Like you completely and you don't even own them because you're trying that hard. You're just that good, and they're that not good. It's got to be pretty empowering.
Tonight, all the roadies that started the road trends, we get them again. I don't know what to make of the Milwaukee, Indiana. I thought it was.
Let's see here. Who do you think's favored tonight?
I
First game in Indiana.
I think the Pacers. Do we have word on Giannis? Is he out?
The Pacers are 6-point favorites.
Yeah,
tonight. Oh my! It's not even tonight. It's at 4:40. What are we doing here? What I mean, I know the NFL draft is on, but like, what are you doing playing it? Who?
They're doing like, exactly that. The NFL draft starts at 5 Central Time.
I'm just saying, what hard worker in the Indiana area is able to get off in time on a Friday to make a 5:40, I guess, tip? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like,
are you kidding? That city shut down. Don't you remember San Antonio during these days?
I'm just saying.
I mean,
like, that stinks.
That's the other part of watching the draft last night is just being part of a city that is just enthralled with the sport current. That everybody has a common topic and a common thing to look forward to, a common excitement that is just so riveting to watch. And
I never thought of it this way, but I was reading about the PGA Tour's problems a few weeks back, and somebody was making the point of how the tour wants every event, every tournament to feel like a Formula One race. But what they said was every F1 race feels like a festival.
Yes.
In the place that it's at. And I had never really thought about it that way. And to your point, like that's what the draft looked like. And that's what an NBA playoff series looks like. Like especially when you have those either games 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, like it feels like a little mini festival in your town.
And just the memories of that and watching these towns go through the excitement of a team on the rise. You could feel it in the Detroit crowd. They know they're getting better. They know it. And then they got happy, and the ripple effect of all that. I did find it interesting. We'll get back to the hoops in a second. As the draft went down, the placement of the ESPN booth, as the draft wore down and fans left, I remember they cut to Adam Schefter, and he looked like he was in front of what had been, I don't know, a festival of sorts. There were like beer cups all on the ground and people staggering off behind him. It looked like they had placed him like, Adam, back over there in the throng, and they'd all left. So he's just out in an open field with a party that had long since finished going on behind him. It was a strange placement for what looked like for most of the night. 200,000 people down there. My gosh, that was a big crowd.
So I don't know. Maybe this just speaks to where I'm at in life. And I think when you get married, you start to look at life a little bit differently. When you become a father, assuming when you become a grandparent, like there's all these like seminal moments where you just like evaluate things differently. The only thing I could think of, Rob, when I want to ask you, when you saw the throngs, when you just saw the like helicopter shot of the like mass crowd, what was the main primary thought in your mind?
It felt like a concert of some sort. I was just trying to figure what concert I'd been with that kind of crowd and where I normally am.
My thought is way less cool. My thought was, man, it would be super stressful to have to use the bathroom.
Well, that's the same thing. I'm always like, I'm normally on the edge of that crowd, knowing exactly where the bathrooms are.
That would
me and Joe Reinagel. Reinagel runs cover for anybody who ever has to use a bathroom a little bit more than most. Just hang around with Joe Reinagel. You go, I ain't that bad. But that's a whole other story. The tonight's games before we run out of time in this fair segment over the weekend. Like you said, 3 games tonight starting really early. Now, for most of San Antonio, it's a holiday. I guess in Indianapolis, it's going to be the same. The Pacers are favored. Chris Middleton's got an ankle issue going in. Dollar Dame, I said it before. I'll say it again. You are here for this. This is why you are here. Go do that.
And if you can't do this, then why are you here?
Right.
You know what I mean? If you can't, and like I'm a believer, to be very clear here, but I'm with you there. Like, if you can't, and you did it game 1, I'd still think that he didn't get enough props, even from haters like you. But if you can't go on the like, we're not even asking you to go to like Miami, you know what I mean? But if you can't go to little tiny Indiana for a 4:30 tip, you know what I mean, and take one when nobody's watching, you know what I mean? Like, what can you do? So yeah, this is a big time game for the Bucks. Why don't we predict all 3 games today? Bucks Pacers.
I like the Pacers, especially with no Middleton. I
Ooh.
like the Pacers. I think that they're going to run past them. Not that the series is over, but I do like the Pacers here.
I don't believe in sunk cost fallacy, but I am kind of stuck here. So I'm gonna go Bucks, but it's really just trying to manifest it at this point. Okay, so that's the first game. It is nice to have 3 really good games. Then we get the aforementioned Clippers Mavs game, game 3.
Are you able? No, you can't. Even on your Fubos, to spread out into the basketball, you can get the basketball. Oh, you will tonight, but you couldn't last night because it was TNT. Right. There you go.
Exactly. These games are on ESPN.
So my night got better as well. Okay.
Yeah. Although
Clippers, Mavs. One of them be NBA TV, but that'll be.
Well, what is the? No, they're all on ESPN. So what is the draft on? The draft.
Wherever His Highness Pat McAfee is, wherever he goes, that's where the draft is.
That's a great answer. Okay, but pick the game, Clippers Mavericks, please.
The little internal ESPN joke there. This one I do not know. I'm gonna go with the Clippers. Just because I'm not sure. The road savvy. That's all I'll say. I just feel like the Clippers are going to get one and make up for the loss.
I'm going to take the Mavs. Okay. And so we're
what's the line? What are we at? 4.5?
Well, the biggest, as I pull it back up, the biggest underdog today I saw were the Bucks. So the Mavericks are 4.5 point home favorites.
Yeah, I'd take the Clips and the numbers.
And then the Suns are 4-point favorites at home.
Nope, that ain't gonna happen.
I would see like that one. I'm willing to adjust on. I'm not going down with that ship. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking the T-Wolves as well. So
I think that's crazy money. I think that no, I like Minnesota outright. What's the money line?
The money line. Goodness gracious, you're asking a million questions.
Well, I'm listening. Our listeners are thinking about it.
The money line for Suns T-Wolves?
Yeah.
You want the T-Wolves? They're plus 150. So
that's not as good as I thought it'd
be. Meanwhile, the Pacers, you want the Pacers money line? Actually, you got to pay a little bit. It's minus 238.
See, there you go. That's what I thought we'd be running around there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the best bet tonight, if you're interested in that, actually, the best bet might be the T-Wolves. I mean, you're plus 150. I mean, I don't know how you can believe in the Suns. So
I don't know how anyone believes in the Suns. Now, I will say this: if you're a Prize Picks type, go the over with Durant.
Oh, there'll be some garbage time scoring.
Yeah, like he's going to get some buckets tonight, to the detriment of the team, but he's going to get his buckets tonight.